youngest of 5 girls, originally from Washington, D.C. I've had the honor of working with several Fortune 500 companies in the aviation industry, entertainment, and environmental services. Prior to joining Yum, I joined Yum through the Pizza Hut US brand. And, Yum has this really great belief in all people, which allowed me to work in 3 different departments in the 6 years that I've been here prior to my current role. So I worked in finance. I was the Senior Director of Franchise Recruiting, worked with a great cross-functional team to sell about 2,200 company-owned stores to new, well-capitalized, very energetic franchisees who are still growing in our system today. I also spent time working for our Chief Development Officer, working on future assets that some of our franchisees are building today. And then I spent 3 years as the Vice President of Operations, working across 5,500 traditional units. I love my time in operations, working out in the field with the team members. And, as you know, leading up to COVID, it was a really trying time, but at Pizza Hut, it was a really powerful time for our brand because we were able to leverage a lot of the insights from our different markets overseas in Asia, and we were able to implement our contactless services the Monday before the U.S. shut down, and the U.S. shut down on a Wednesday. And that allowed our brand to continue to operate, our franchisees to safely operate, and our team members throughout the pandemic. And we really did something special in our brand. We didn't view contactless as a service. We viewed it as a product. And so we weaved it into our end-to-end customer experience. And that proved to be very valuable for our brand because it allowed us to ensure that our franchise system was positive sales growth very quickly. And they've maintained that today, which is great news. And then Pizza Hut US also moved to the product model as the way they are going to do business into the future. So that was also very exciting to be a part of that. And then in November of 2020, I moved to the parent company, Yum Brands, to be the new head of our global franchise office, which is very exciting. I get to work across our 4 brands, as you know, which is Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut, and the Habit Burger Grill. And we operate in 150 markets around the world across 2,000 franchisees. And in my current role, we get to work with all of our markets and brands to make sure, we're really focused on attracting and maintaining the best-in-class franchisees, that we really have our finger on the pulse of our franchisee financial health, and that we keep our franchisees extremely healthy and growing, and that we create a franchising center of excellence, as well as leveraging our scale to bring benefits to our franchise system that no other franchisor can, being the largest global franchisor and restaurant brand in the world. So that's a little bit about where I am today and how I got here.
Great. So obviously this past couple of years has been so crazy for the restaurant industry, for everyone really. But could you walk me through some of the accomplishments that you're most proud of in 2021 in your current role?
Yes. So, as you know, Yum in 2020 announced an initiative called Unlocking Opportunity. And we committed $100 million that we would spend across all of our global markets in 3 key areas: diversity and inclusion, franchising education, and entrepreneurship. So one of the things I'm really proud of for the Yum Global Franchise Office is we leveraged some of those dollars to form a partnership with the University of Louisville to create the first ever Yum Center for Global Franchise Excellence. It is the only center anywhere in the globe that has 3 different franchising education tracks. One is a 6-week franchising boot camp. It requires no formal education. It's a virtual offering. It's about 8 to 10 hours a week. And at the end, you get a franchise management certificate. We also have an undergraduate program and a graduate program, all through U of L School of Business. So we were very excited to launch that in May of 2021. And like I said, all the tracks are live today and full and growing. And then we're really excited to let you know that coming up in January, we'll be announcing an extension to our partnership with the University of Louisville. So more to come, but we think it'll be extremely exciting.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember when I wrote about that. That's really exciting and can definitely recruit some new faces and voices to the brand.
Exactly.
And so I'm curious, what do you think the future of franchising is or is going to look like or could look like at Young?
I think that's a great question. As I mentioned, we really believe that the Unlocking Opportunity Initiative is something that's not one and done, but something we'll continue to do. And what I mean by that is if you think about all the places where we have restaurants, where we can touch the lives of younger entrepreneurs or different folks who aren't in our business today, that gives us the mechanism to build a franchise system that looks and feels just as diverse as the communities that we serve. So I think that's one of the powerful ways that Yum will continue to work to grow and bring more faces, more voices, more insights, not only to our franchise system, but ultimately delivering that great experience to our customers.
Mm-hmm. And what changes have you kind of seen to the franchising program that you think has maybe recruited young entrepreneurs of color, Black business owners, et cetera, to the company?
Yeah, for us, I mean, we're really excited about the partnership with U of L and about another extension of that we will be announcing in January, because I think it's critically important that we attract the younger generation to the franchising industry, that we really make sure when they're making those critical decisions of what am I going to do with my life? Where do I want to start my career? They realize that franchising is someplace not only they can start their career, but grow it and grow it to a successful independent franchise business that can create generational wealth. And so that's why we're really excited to make sure that the young students and entrepreneurs of today know that they can not only work at our brands, but also work in our franchise organizations across the globe.
Mm-hmm. And something that we are asking of all of our Power List honorees is what is your big idea for the restaurant industry? By that I mean what is the thing that you're most passionate about that you think will kind of propel your work moving forward?
I think it's really understanding a couple of things. I know you said one, but I think they're kind of tied. How can we attract younger and more diverse audiences to the franchising industry? And number two, can we think about ways to not only invite more global buyers into the US to be attracted to our brands, to help grow our brands? And can we also think about attracting US buyers to our global markets and bringing their expertise and their insights to help our brands grow? So I think there's an interesting, intersection between finding younger entrepreneurs, filling our pipelines, and then seeing what we can do to attract global and domestic buyers to maybe, cross over and to go into different regions of the world that they're not in today, to continue to grow, to serve people, to feed people, and more importantly, to create jobs.
Mm-hmm. And besides the university partnership, what does attracting a more diverse pipeline of franchisees look like, and kind of what have you learned during that process?
Yeah, so I think, the reason why we formed, the U of L partnership is we've seen probably 3 barriers to entry for underrepresented people of color, specifically African American, Hispanic, Latino, and females. And that's access to capital, knowing the right contacts at the brand or franchisor to understand how do I even get into your buyer pipeline to see deals, and franchising education. And so we really believe the partnership with the University of Louisville would help us kind of knock down the franchising education barrier. And then, as I mentioned before, we have another extension of that partnership that will help us knock down not only the franchise education, but also having the right, mentors and contacts at the brands, as well as access to capital. But I think that's critically important that all of the brands within the franchise industry really eliminate those barriers and bring more voices and faces to our franchising industry.
Mm-hmm. You read my mind, because I was just about to say, pulling back a little bit, like what changes you think need to happen or still need to happen with franchising in the restaurant industry in general.
Yeah, and I think it's just what we discussed before, right? Removing the barriers to entry, having more people who are part of the conversation, who are part of our franchise system, and really understanding that as our country and countries across the globe continue to diversify, that we make sure that we as brands become as diverse as the customers that we serve every day.
Mhm. Absolutely. And for Yum, what are the benefits of having that diverse franchisee pipeline with people that look like your customers?
I think it helps you bring new ideas to the table. I think it really spurs long-term growth. It also creates new jobs. The more restaurants you open, the more jobs you create. And so I think it also gives the opportunity for new buyers and existing buyers to build and create generational wealth. And who doesn't want that?
Mhm. And what are your goals moving forward? What growth do you think still needs to happen, both in your specific position and in Yum in general?
Yeah, so again, we're super focused on knocking down all those barriers to entry so we can have more folks at the table. It's really an addition conversation. How can we bring more diverse thought into our franchise system, into our brands, and how will that ultimately help us provide a better product and a better service to our customers? So just very excited to continue down the path. We really believe unlocking opportunity is the mechanism to reach our ultimate goal, which is being as diverse as the customers we serve.
And I don't want to put you on the spot too much, but could you maybe, if you could think of an example of a specific example, maybe somebody an entrepreneur franchisee that was kind of recently or this year brought into the Yum family that may not had the opportunity before, or if you could think of any like stories that you could specifically tell.
Yes, I can think of a couple. Our brands have done an excellent job, have really partnering with our franchise system to see if there are opportunities for females who are high up in their organization to either become owners or become part owners. So we're starting to see a lot of that come to fruition, and we're starting to see some of the top female execs in our franchise organizations actually become the owner of those organizations, which is fantastic. And then we've seen some of our African American franchisees can continue to grow in size and scale, which is also great. So those are two specific things that I've seen this year, and I know is coming down the path in the years to come. So we're super focused on, again, bringing more people into our brands and bringing more ideas and insights and energy, and understanding that the more we do that, the more we can generate an excellent customer service. And we know that people will look to us for their careers, and we know that buyers will look to us to deliver them long-term growth and prosperity.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that you hit the nail on the head with that diversity pipeline. It's so important to that sometimes or I guess there have previously been missing rungs on that ladder. And now I think like a lot of people are paying attention to how can we fix those rungs and make it easier for people to move through that pipeline and kind of get higher up in the organization or become owners.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, everybody doesn't grow up with their mother, their father, their grandmother owning 10, 15, 20, 30 restaurants. So you might not think this is a career path for you, or you might not even understand how to get into this industry. And so I just think it's really important to provide access to more people and to let them know what the franchising industry is about, who we are at Yum, what we do, what our four brands do, all the powerful things our franchisees do, not only at the store level where they're serving customers, but also within their communities.